We are in the draft now for game number 4, which could be our final game. LGD going to be on the blue side. Both teams have won only on blue so far, so QG have to break serve if they want to ice this series. But the bans are almost done. Elise, Nidalee, and Victor for LGD. And Qiao Gu ban the Lulu. Diana, Yasuo, and Lulu. Get him out of here.
Kalista.
She's open.
Oh, that's true. But they did get rid of the Lulu, thankfully. So keep that in mind. It's not as great now.
And Kalista insta-locked. And it's not just Imp that's really good on this champion. Unlocking PYL is always a dangerous proposition. If QG win this game, what a way to finish the series.
And this is the best part about this is that LGD played the best around Kalista just because how they like to play as a team. And it does unlock PYL. I feel like they should pick the Braum just so that PYL can't be Braum with Imp.
Yep.
And then throw in a Braum. That's pretty scary.
Braum's win rate been pretty good this series as well. I love these two hobbits from Qiao Gu. They know they have to shut down Imp. These are pretty good tools to do that.
Once again, I'm going to, as I said, I really like the Diana Lulu bans, but banning away the Yasuo is just really confusing, I'm going to say right now, because they take the Braum majority of the time, and unless there's a double wall. If they go with Alistar, I'm definitely happy with it, but if that was going to be another Braum, I'm going to question it again.
There's Maokai. They thought about Shen Alistar, but it's time to question. Those are the picks from QG.
And it's not bad by any means. I feel like TBQ is now giving a shout out to Swift, who for some reason is giving a shout out to TCT with the Thresh. But they've gone for the Braum, and we've seen the success of Braum. It's no surprise that they're going to go for that. But there's so many other options that they can consider. Are they really that desperate to pick up the Braum so that PYL can't?
Well, Kalista Thresh is now the lane for LGT.
Yeah.
And Rek'Sai, the jungler there for TBQ.
Wow.
Couldn't ask for a better start for LGD. Oh, Doinb.
How many point-click abilities do you want to be able to throw on her? That's the question.
Why would you ban Yasuo if you're going to go for a Nautilus as well? That's another question.
Doinb might not play it. I don't think we've seen him do it, but he certainly played against it. Not much we can tell you.
Well, for all we know, it's Doinb. He can go Maokai mid. He's done that before.
Yes, as well. That was before the Nautilus mid, by the way. Certainly knows his way around a few tanks in the mid lane.
Good.
Yeah, I like it.
I like this, by the way, if
I like this a lot. There we go. There's Kog'Maw for TNT. I was waiting for him to play it. He played it 3 times in their last best of 5 versus IG. Finally gets his hands on it, but I don't know if he wanted him on Kalista as the other side. And I wonder if Swift's going to take a big playmaking jungler for himself.
Acorn go Rise right now as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Echo. It is Gragas. They'll swap things up at the last second. Gragas Kog'Maw, QG's 3rd and 4th picks.
Very strong 4-man that they've got for themselves so far. Well and truly securing the fact that TNT is going to have a big line of tanky men in front of him and a giant unkillable tree as well to ensure that he's alive. TCT on that Braum will be able to hold his hand through it. The question is Doinb though, because he needs to be a hyper carry now.
It always is. Azir is open if GODV doesn't want to take it away. But it looks of things, LGD going to put a bit more power into their solo laners here, but plenty of time to consider these last few picks. It could be their final ones. They want to make sure they get them right.
I mean, if Ahri's locked in, it's fine. I honestly think this is Imp BMing Doinb based off the semi-finals performance against an Ahri that Rookie kind of showed Doinb the ropes.
I thought that about Fiora as well, but managed to lock that one in. PYL, yep.
So GODV historically is a brilliant Ahri player, so it's definitely a comfort pick for him. Acorn's a really good top Hecarim player as well. And what they have right now is if TNT is the only carry on the game, 3 ways to kill him. People are going to come in from 3 different angles and try and blow him up. They get the double reset right now because they've just gone with the Gragas. Not Gragas, they had that already. They've gone with the Azir.
Yep.
So they're able to shove people away and also use the Gragas barrel, but it's really hard to shove Acorn off your Kog'Maw right now.
And Hecarim can ult over the Emperor's Divide as well.
Yeah, so he is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Too spooky.
Really,
for the soldiers.
Really difficult to deal with the team comp that LGD have got right now. If you were ever a carry of Qiao Gu, there's one thing that you can look towards as a saving grace, though, is that TNT's positioning is generally immaculate. There's very rarely a positional error that he makes, and that is a very good factor looking at the team that he's going to be up against.
And I want to know how early Acorn throws points into his E, because we've seen people go like 3-4 point queues and then started maxing out the E because you want E to have ranks as soon as you have home guard boots on Hecarim, so you can just shove hoofs into the Void Puppy. Like, that is the entire goal right now. Probably going to go 5 max there because it's a Maokai lane. You get the helicopter going and Maokai struggles with it. But E is going to be a really important ability on that man right there.
Yep, Acorn on the Hecarim versus V. Back on the Maokai to start off our matchups in top lane. Moving to the jungle, TBQ back on the Rek'Sai. Swift's going to get Gragas for the 3rd time in the series.
It's a dangerous jungle duo as they're going to be able to gank a lot early between the two as we move towards the assassin style of mid laners.
Ahri is there in the mid lane, but this is the big story. Imp on Kalista. TNT took away Kog'Maw, and PWL's on the Thresh with TCT's Braum. Again, QG, the odds are stacked against them here. Imp has Kalista, they're on the red side, but if they can win this game, what a way to finish
and
against
LGD.
LGD.
Take the 2v2 because right now, there's a danger of a roaming PYL if you go with the lane swap, which is where they've looked super comfortable, but they haven't done it against a Thresh so far.
No, and I mean, even if you get 2v2, it's not also going to be bad news. It's tricky, to say the least, to play against these teams. We're going to see if QG can do it. Let's get onto the riff for game number 4. And here we are as Imp YL move out for possibly the last time here for LGD. Hard to believe they're down 1-2 here in this game. They must win back-to-back to be the LPL Summer Champions. And Qiao Gu, the Cinderella story almost, on match point now. Trying to see if they can ice this in game number 4.
TCT needs to be careful. He's actually wedged.
Uh-oh. Don't do it. Don't take the 10 gold. Oh, hi, GODV. Backs away. Sentinel's not worth his life. He realizes, and he just sort of very surreptitiously back away.
All things considered, that was really close to being charmed or at least annoyed many times, but he stays in the safe zone, gets out perfectly fine.
You feel that was nearly gone, V? Like, First Blood's not worth the point that I've taken charm. Not giving up lane control anymore.
Already has his Q, so he's like, yep. Done with you.
Yeah, no, he was never going to overcommit to anything, but it was just going to be damage on a TCT. He's a tanky man. He'll be fine, but this bot lane, I'm very shocked that they actually gave away the Thresh and the Kalista. They weren't even picked at the same time.
It's a real fun lane to watch, isn't it? M3 were the first team to really run this lane in the LPL, and the way they'll do it is exactly this. Share experience, get level 2, and then just destroy people. That was when Candy used to play.
If you think Imp is good on Kog'Maw, you guys have clearly not watched his closely yet. He is frightening on this champion. They are going to go 2v2.
And the recipe is Kalista and Targon support. Like, honestly, that's just the recipe because you're able to shove up really early. And you use that Soul Link passive to just create so much pressure.
See, they're trying to get the trades down. Good Q into PYL. Little slap down a minion. TNT will keep his distance.
It's the level 2, though, is what LGD are looking for. Because from this point, you're pretty much zoned. It's not a whole lot you can do. Just because the strength of that lane with a hook available is through the roof.
TNT already flash. Just had a poke over there by his summoner spell. I don't know why. But that's actually nice there for
Tried to type in chat.
Maybe.
Forgot to hit enter.
He pressed D to dance, yeah. It gets you sometimes.
Pretty awkward place here. Game 4 of the LPL Grand Finals, but that's going to make this lane even worse. You can see still level 1 here for the Kog'Maw. Imp YL completely zoning them off this wave.
But how many creeps are going to die? 1 dies, 2, so they deny a couple of CS. The rest of it should be able to be picked up underneath turret, to be honest.
Going to start now. Acorn in the top side. No, it's V actually getting aggressive early on. Hit level 3, got a big wave behind him, and Acorn gets a huge chunk out of his health pool.
Yeah, if anyone knows this lane matchup, it's V.
Yeah, the 2 most played champions that he has played were 17 apiece before this best of 5. He's now on one against the other, so.
And the turret dive might come out from Swift right now.
He's been spotted multiple times.
Yep.
So you would imagine not. Especially with that Wolf Spirit just to boot, like if he ever came in the jungle. He was a spotted man.
TBQ did not like what happened in the last game. Just keeping the surveillance systems online. TBQ. He's going to try and steal away the Raptor, but Swift's going to say, nope, get knocked up instead. That's a bit awkward. Gonna try and trade back, but TBQ with the early damage. Swift gets destroyed in that 1v1.
And still wants the big Wraith.
So greedy.
Wow, this is great.
Swift actually might get himself killed here if he's not careful. Smite comes down. Swift does get it, and he didn't use his smite. Got outplayed.
Trigger happy.
That was red buff. It wasn't even an auto attack that got it, so it must have been the red buff. Secure that one away.
Calculated.
Yep, definitely calculated.
As we said, these Korean jungles, man, on the next level.
Always on the next level. It's back in the bottom side. TNT actually catching up relatively nicely. And again, Imp gonna get that experience lead, gonna block them away. Braum gonna do a decent job with the Unbreakable, trying to keep them back. But if QG can weather the storm, we've seen their mid games. They'll explode in 5v5s, and they've got a good 5v5 team as well.
It's just so indicative of an imp lane, is that he's already this far ahead in farm. The second that PYL leaves, though, Qiao Gu recognize that, and they try and push him out, try and reset the lane to a point where they can at least safely farm, but already 13 CS behind. At 5 minutes in the game from laning phase, that's rough.
Certainly is. As Acorn in the top lane. Having a bit of trouble, but he'll catch up in CS as he takes these out as well. And Doinb trying to push in early with the Azir. Ran out of mana here as GODV able to keep that turret back in. Did have a lead early on, did Azir, but gonna have to go back and replenish that mana pool now.
Recurring Ahri nightmares. It's the Doinb special at the moment. One of the few laners who really does struggle against the pressure that Rookie was putting down, and now GODV at the same position. Just sits there and harasses you if you try and farm, and it's the weakness of Azir in that respect before you actually get items.
Speaking of, Rico bow up for Imp in the bottom side, so might be rushing Runins actually, but could of course be Blade of the Ruin King as well. So seen this a lot from Imp. Certainly a build that seems popular since the Kalista changes.
Yeah, if you go back on BF, it's very enticing to go towards something like a BF sword and go for the Q-Max. But Blade of the Ruin King is a really safe pick just because you're able to get a lot more auto attacks in someone.
Yeah, and the Kalista changes recently have made people err towards the side of attack speed over that overshield and utility from the Bloodthirster. There's been experimentation since the changes with both, but the consensus seems to be that attack speed is the best option.
Good damage in the top there as well from V as he's...
I'm actually really surprised how many double Doran rings we've seen today out of mid laners.
They really like their Dorans in China, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Like discount at the moment that I didn't know about?
Maybe.
There's no sale
on the Chinese server. Oh, stun. Not quite there. Swift's here as well, though. Good threat.
This is good. Swift being here as just a presence might be enough to get this wave to the turret to reset it. Because at the moment...
Otherwise it was there forever.
Yeah, because it was going to be frozen in place. And at the moment it hasn't actually reset, so there's a chance that it's still going to be frozen there forever.
Does PYL grab it and drag it off? No, he doesn't. He actually walks it back towards.
So not going to happen this time as GODV trading up with Doinb. Have to be careful of the old Sand Soldiers. GODV got a little bit of an item lead here for the Fiendish Codex plus double Dorans. Actually, I guess it's the Crystalline Floss that's the difference there for Doinb. Just to make sure he gets his farm on, as there's a farm fest in the top lane as well, once again. A very quiet early game, but this time we're actually in standard lanes.
And this time you feel it has to favor the Maokai, the Hecarim, sorry, if it favors anyone. If you want a quiet laning phase, Hecarim's the guy that you go to because you haven't got to escape someone at A. So if you make it to level 6, you breathe a big sigh of relief for going for something incredibly greedy in the Ignite. And then you just think, Trinity Force, as soon as it comes through, you run over the top of the AD carry.
Definitely does. And that's one of the bigger factors here, that you look at this LGD side and you say, we'll favor them heavily if they get the standard lanes. But the biggest factor right now is honestly the CS discrepancy between this bottom lane. So Imp is having a field day right now, and it looks really rough if you were TNT.
Yeah, not getting any better. I was gonna mention that had a couple of constants this series that Kog'Maw is in a game. Maokai is featuring prominently. Kalista's pick from Imp when he has it, and Imp's still ahead in CS. He's been ahead the whole way, even in their losses. And they've got two of them to LGD. Blue buff going to be donated over to GODV. TBQ is going to set that one up.
Oh, that's twice.
And once again.
In this time, there's no Chalice to save him. So this means TBQ has to gank his lane.
The jet ski's out in shame. Goes to the Gromp.
That's not good. That is really not good. I mean, One thing to consider is though the CS discrepancy is high between the bottom lane, they're still keeping up. They're still going to power spike really hard. So there's windows where Qiao Gu can well and truly utilize their strengths and team fight. But until such a time, this is LGD's chance to win laning phase really heavily to the point where they can snowball the game. But with no blue buff available for GODV, not as easy because Azir can control the lane.
TBQ now instead. Gonna try and get some of that vision down. We're approaching that 10-minute mark, so
you can see Imp wants the lane turret right now. He recognizes that he has done this multiple times and it hasn't been enough. In the game that they were able to win very heavily, he took the turret early and was able to get it into other lane advantages.
Swift is here, I think, knowing that. Power's getting quite low. TNT only with a Sheen, not able to put up too much aggression.
That's so funny because Sheen has like the biggest power spike on every other lane matchup, apart from Kalista, because she is just such a bully, and they've reset it again. As soon as Swift shows himself, they just freeze the lane out.
TNT backs away. No, he doesn't hit the recall button. GODV gets a good charm in the mid lane as Doinb.
Surprised he didn't go all in then.
Answers back. Surprised Doinb didn't cleanse, to be honest with you.
So I think that would have been a tandem decision there.
Ignite came out, cleanse came out.
Good point.
They were both waiting for each other to pull the trigger, I think. Doinb playing much more reactively than GODV, who is the one actually hitting the charms now and controlling this laning phase a little bit better. Even without that blue buff, he's still doing real good.
Bottom side again. PYL's going to eat the chair, but him's just continuing to push. He's 30 CS up now. Only growing. Great harass with the Q there as well. This might be the wave they get the turret. TNT's going to do what he can. They're not going to quite go for it just yet. And Swift's making his way down. He might have a very small window here to gank.
Unlikely.
They've got the Rift Scuttler.
Yeah.
And there's just so many Sentinels running around the map.
Window closed then. And again, Swift has had a passive early game. He's fine as a farming jungler, but often looks best when he's being proactive, and both junglers have chilled out.
He's 13 CS behind. That's 3 camps.
Yeah, but he's trying to not have a passive early game. That's the big issue here.
Oh, they're going in. TBQ's here.
Slightly, yeah. TBQ's waiting around the side. Fates calls pop. Now they know the problem.
They're going
Knock
in.
back there as well. Im's trying to get aggressed on. Swift needs to jump in there. Gets the cast down. Might be enough. Acorn's here. He gets first blood into TCT. And it's all gone pear-shaped. The knock up there as well from Rek'Sai. V joins far too late as he gets hooked by PYL. And the kill's going to come in again. V will die. LGD get 3 kills.
That was 3 kills that probably should not have happened, to say the least. Hecarim is now 2-0-1, and this is Qiao Gu acting desperately at 12 minutes in the game when there was no kills on the board. They didn't need to do that gank, but they have put so much time and effort into this bottom lane that they felt the need to do it eventually. And that was the one time it didn't work.
And we said TBQ at his best when he can find the counter gank. This time it was telegraphed as all heck. That wasn't going anywhere but bot. So the fact that they were able to, I guess, successfully read that, and Acorn picks up another couple of kills. We already said that with falling behind, TNT is going to have a bad game. Well, he's 30 CS behind the top laner, who has 2 kills now, and will go towards that Trinity Force nice and early.
Yeah, that's actually Runan's first item. That's crazy.
Wow.
Imp's gone all in on the early game.
That is, yeah, that is flexing some muscles as TNT is trying to catch up in farm. We got the Nashers out for Doinb. The Frozen Heart's close there for V. But even GODV's now got his Morello Nomicon. The pace from LGD.
Building.
A little bit of everything.
He's getting a variety bucket at the moment. he's so torn.
The combo?
Yeah, he's so torn between an actual item. But if I get a bit of everything, it will be an item eventually.
And this is why Kalista became such a popular carry, because she's really fun to play with Runans. So you throw spears everywhere, you get all your Rens going, it's great.
It is actually.
Imp's going to have a field day right now. He's up 40 CS and has his Runans and can just hop around the map.
Yeah, probably going to try and take some turrets, which is why he swapped here in the top lane. But
nah, he just wanted to hop, man.
Totally not for objectives.
Look at this.
He's hopping a lot. He's basically a rabbit, but he's also going for this objective. The V is so far behind compared to Imp, who's just a monster. It's going to be really hard for him to actually deal with this.
Imp's like harassing him as well. This is adorable.
But he doesn't do much damage.
No, he's got a Runans, remember, so it's
TCT. TNT, sorry, dead in the bottom lane to Acorn. Ulti not even there. TBQ just there with the assist, and it's starting to go real bad.
And all of a sudden, there's an ultimate to use mid lane. TBQ already there. They'll shove the wave up.
This has been, without GODV at all, LGD are just starting to run away with this game. And the biggest factor here is that Doinb's not winning. It's not that GODV's winning or losing, it's that Doinb's not winning. So he can't be somewhere with the jungle.
Oh, now going to get all in. Charms out there as well. Doinb does not go back in, but now he has to push them out. Can't quite surf away to safety.
Acorn's a monster.
And Acorn's 4th kill of the game comes in. LGD going to take mid lane.
Yeah.
Acorn is 4-0-1. That was all GODV. Able to line that gank up, was shoved away, and then the rest of his team just comes in to play cleanup.
Yep, it was actually fairly simple of them, to be honest with you. It was telegraphed in where they were going to go, when they were going to go there. But there's no answer from Qiao Gu because they literally just cannot get there in time.
They're 5,000 gold behind at 15 minutes into the game.
How does this keep happening to Qiao Gu? I'm not even talking about just this series. It was the same deal
just
against IG.
Yeah.
They went up, and then IG figured it out, managed to win 2 games, and then QG made a couple of tweaks in Game 5 and clutched out the last game. They're looking very likely to be put in that same position, but with no offense at all meant to IG, LGD are looking like they're a cut above. This series has been rough for them.
And with all due respect to QG as well, when people expected QG to win the series, people did not expect QG to win the series once it got to Game 5. Because you look at the resume of people in Game 5 situations on Invictus Gaming, and that's a very hard lineup to beat. You know, as I said, I still think QG is a better team than them, but to beat Invictus Gaming in a Game 5 situation after all the mid-game and mid-series adaptations that came through definitely was a resume bumper for this QG lineup, but to be able to do it against LGD, that's a hard ask.
It is. In this game, you have to think they'll play it out, but it's going to be certainly very tough here. Not over by any stretch, but 5,000 gold down at 15 minutes is, that's a lot.
That's a substantial amount. You look at the control along the map, though. It's not just that they're ahead by 5,000 gold. It's that everywhere is winning. Acorn in that top lane is a monster on this Hecarim. There's no answer that is even remotely possible from V.
And even GODV starting to get a bit more aggressive. Doinb might ride in there, but...
This is the thing about Ahri. This is why Ahri is a strong pick right now, and I think it actually got tapped in the last patch. 515, her healing is ridiculous off the orb if you throw it through the creeps. Hit a champion with it, and you can sustain through harass. Very underrated part of Ahri's kit.
Yeah, the passive is the biggest factor. And I mean, we saw Doinb have a very hard time against Ahri's. He seemingly didn't consider the passive a thing from that heal, and it ended up being the ultimate downfall of him on more than one occasion.
How is it this good? He's back up to about 60, almost 70 CS ahead, trying to push down some turrets, and it's making Qiao Gu's life generally unpleasant. All credit to Acorn. That teleport really set this game up nicely for LGD. But just watching him play this whole series, he's just looked so insanely good.
And this is the thing, they look great when Imp picks up the farm and Acorn picks up the kills, because Imp needs another person to get going. That's what this series has really proven, that as good as he is, he still struggles to do it by himself. So the fact that he's up 70 CS, but Acorn is the one with the 4 kills, just means that all of a sudden, QG have to worry about getting rid of 2 huge members.
Yeah, it's near impossible to get rid of one of those 2 huge members because it's a Hecarim that is super far ahead. Is really close to that Trinity Force now himself. And objectives are starting to fall down here for nothing.
I wonder if he has it when he goes back. If they could get Trinity Force on 2nd Dragon, that means QG can't even look at it because of the home guard gank that will come through from there.
They'll die in its presence. There's 10 seconds up to that Dragon. Acorn's starting to go back. I have a feeling.
He's got 3 really good wards to go to right now. PYL's clearing out the jungle to make sure that his path is and he has it.
He does have it.
Yeah.
Home guards teleport.
He's done. See you top lane.
Lord.
TNT gonna ride his way in. He's level 12. He's gonna go for the 1v2.
That's
He actually gets stunned up. The ult's out there as well. TNT, this would be a huge kill for him, but Acorn ulti's out to safety.
he just felt powerful, you know? You buy that Trinity Force, you're like, you know what, I do damage. And
No,
then he just... Oh, he teleported so far away.
The drive-by.
It's really a drive-by. It's like a drive-in movie.
He's like, don't worry, guys. We secured Dragon.
Kalista thankfully helping out on that front.
All planned.
TNT and his Trinity Force as well is actually going to deny some creeps, and Acorn.
He was like, why do they hit so hard?
Looking a little silly.
I thought you won lane, Imp.
And Imp's like, hey, check out my items. I definitely did. And QG are going to
He's
continue playing from behind. 2 dragons up now for LGD. 3-1 up in turrets and a bevy of gold. The late game team fighting's there, but QG are going to have to get there. And if the game continues on this pattern, it's not going to last too much longer. But so can they hold on? Weather quite the storm.
The problem is the objective secure is just so strong out of LGD. That's why Kalista is a really fearsome champion. Snowball's pretty damn hard, but also just has objective control at all stages of the game with that Ren passive.
Yeah, if you're ever ahead as a Kalista, it's near impossible to actually fall behind ever again in the game. And then you look at the rest of the team. Well, speaking of,
Doinb barely missed getting flayed. Good ulti just bops him away. Dashes out to safety. And Imp will be more than happy to trade those cooldowns.
Ooh, Doinb does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's got Nash's needs to large rod. It's not awful.
No, Doinb's farmed really well. He's 20 CS ahead of the clock.
And Acorn.
Yeah, and that means GODV's on the clock as
Not
well.
Acorn,
So he's
GODV.
doing really well, all things considered.
But they already started baiting out this Baron.
I like the ward there from Qiao Gu. They got another
so
one as
nice.
well. Oh, TCT! Blown up there as the Unbreakable comes out. He's still eating the damage. Will go down to TVQ.
Did they just start it now?
No, they're going to go in for more kills. Swift, a little out of position. They're going to keep running back in. Acorn just tags him with the ult and Imp takes the kill.
Yeah, there's no position on the map besides the Baron that is going to be a free objective for them to consider going for. Acorn's already massive, but from the looks of it, they don't actually want to go immediately for the risk that is going to be securing
They just want to
that
continue
Baron.
to bait it, you have to feel.
They just want more kills. They're out for blood.
It's almost more valuable up on the map
Yeah.
than it is dead. Because when it's dead, QG know you can't be baiting them.
Ooh.
Doinb's trying real hard to defend this, but the way Imp's playing,
I'm very surprised Imp didn't go all in.
Well, they tried to throw 2 skill shots at Doinb and both missed by a whisker, so...
Imp would have died too. Straight up, Imp would have
I
died.
don't know if Imp cares. But he's
Imp may
going to
not
play it a
care.
bit more safe. His teammates might. That's fair. Oh, Charm. Almost. Good try there from GODV. Just Doinb's trying to keep his team in it. If anyone can gatekeeper and stall out a game, here's someone like Azir.
Yeah, the Emperor's dreamer, man.
Certainly capable of holding out a game, but you can see based off the way that LGD are positioning is they don't want him to deal with those minions. They want to kill anyone who goes near the minions or the objective they're trying to take. They've got Ahri for that pick. So it's really dangerous for anyone from Qiao Gu to be near a turret or Baron area or Dragon.
Basically, Summoner's Rift. It's kind
Anywhere
of a no-go
that's- yeah.
zone right now.
Yeah,
for
stick
Qiao
under
Gu.
turrets.
Even then, it's still risky.
Where can they go, Rusty? Because they're pretty fast in running out of options in this game.
They need more Zonias to zone people.
Well, that's from Doinb. Actually like the adaptation.
Oh, the hoofs into the turret. Oh, that damage is sick. I really love Max E. Like, Hecarim was a really frustrating champion with Smite, and so fun when you go Trinity Force Max E second.
Acorn's happy for the change back in Summoner spells. Qiao Gu continuing to defend as best they can, but still that gold lead. Almost 6,000 up for LGD. And the Dragons are starting to pile up, and that Baron threat's very real. QG have to play reactively for probably the next 15 minutes. And that is a long time in a game of League of Legends.
That also is nearly pretty much 5th Baron, 5th Dragon if that is what they do. So I don't even know whether they have that option. They need to see if they can find picks, continue to damage out GODV. I like the build that's come out of Doinb because he should be able to control the tempo of team fights if they do take place, and still relatively low health bars of wow.
Ooh, box out there as well. They're trying to get a kill onto V. Doinb going to charge his way in. PYL does have the Fates call ready. Dodges that Q. Now's the ulti out from Kalista. And they'll get away to safety.
So that was really well played actually from V to use the Twisted Advance to the nearest minion, avoid the Thresh box completely. And then he's completely fine, gets out safely. The rest of the cavalry arrive to save his
Oh, TNT, you do not want to be there.
Apparently he does.
Not enough minions just yet for Acorn, but he's definitely in
Did you see that last teleport? I don't know if Acorn cares about the minions.
I think Acorn learned his lesson from that.
I honestly think that Acorn was like, he must have like 3 members behind him to approach me in such a manner.
apparently it's only the Braum that it takes, so that guaranteed stun pass is
that's huge.
Kind of a big deal in terms of a 1v2. Acorn's getting that armor though. Becomes a lot easier to 1v1.
Blue buff contest now.
Throwing charms at blue buff is an interesting one.
Oh! Who got it? It was Doinb.
Doinb.
That's a good pickup. Gonna need it to push these minion waves away from their turrets.
But they lost top lane in response, so you know it looks like a win. But when you look at the cross-map objective trade that did come out of LGD,
yeah, and it's timed well with the dragon as well. 20 seconds from now, Acorn can use his teleport. He'll probably just go back to the bottom lane or something and try and assassinate the Kog'Maw, but it's closer to the dragon this time.
8 seconds now until Dragon's back up. And it's items aplenty for everyone on LGD. QSS done for him. Another half item done there for GODV on top of the Abyss Umbrella and Nomicon. And our full Spirit Visage and a Randuin's for Acorn and TBQ respectively. Levels are starting to pile up and QG can't contest for Dragon number 3, but Snowball is racing down the hill now at this point. So we're about 8k up on the LGD side.
That's going to be a very free objective to take here from LGD. And Qiao Gu, they are very well aware that the dragon is the plan of attack and that is the avenue that LGD are taking. So the response is near immediate. They want control around the Baron area because that's the only thing remaining to take on this map. But while we're talking about things to be taken on the map, Imp decides bottom is where he wants to be.
Does he dive the Kog'Maw? Oh, the turret's going to go there. Kog'Maw's not going to stick around there.
It's on his own right now. We'll take out the turret. That's 5 turrets now for LGD. But that's the tier 2 in mid, I think. Still sitting there.
Yeah.
Probably not for very long, given the pace of the game. LGD, again, just those first 10, 15 minutes. That first teleport from Acorn set up this entire game.
Yeah.
Swift giveth and Swift taketh away.
Certainly does.
In regard to QG right now, you feel.
The Gragas, it's not as impactful as everything else. The early pressure is always still going to be there. It's that disengage tool that comes with the rest of his team. And as a style, they really do enjoy disengaging from things and fighting on their own terms and only on their own terms. But LGD just force them into fights. And
no one forced Gragas to go that deep on the bottom lane turret. That was an interesting life choice.
Yeah.
Well, that particular one was...
yeah.
You bring your own keyboard and mouse, Zach.
Yeah. Look,
all right, you don't get someone else's.
So he wanted to fight, okay? He really wanted to fight bottom, so he stayed bottom for 7 minutes, got behind ADC, and then thought it was the best time. But look, it was the idea was still there though. The idea that LGD's bot lane is always winning, irrespective, and he wanted to camp that lane. It just didn't work because the way that they won the lane was so commanding that he couldn't gank.
And this is what we said, that, oh wow.
Oh, Acorn. Hello, TNT. Gets pushed back there. Ulti's out as well. Damage actually not there. A great Braum ult from TCT will disengage them. Even PWL can't get in there with the Fate's Call. LGD really trying to get this damage done, but the 6 tower's going to fall. LGD will just take the objective instead.
And this is what we said, like there's, I hate to bring up solo queue during competitive play, but there's the old solo queue adage, like don't gank a losing lane, because there's a really good chance that they lose even further because you show up there and you give away 3 kills, and that's exactly what happened. Obviously in competitive play you have much better tools like the communication of teleports and things like that, but LGD just baited that to perfection. They hit TBQ around the corner for so long. He got a 1-man knock-up, then a 3-man knock-up on the back end of that team fight, and they were just able to swing it in their favor. And we keep saying, with Doinb in team fights, QG look amazing. Without Doinb in team fights, LGD look like they can take the skirmishes.
And don't be fooled by the pace of this game. LGD are still insanely far ahead.
10,000.
At 28 minutes in with 3 dragons to none. Baron, again, not been looked at. I still can't quite grasp how one-sided these games have seemed.
Yeah.
No matter which team wins.
The priority pick is just
blue side, man. Which is good news for Qiao Gu in Game 5.
Looks like Imp wants to just jump over this wall and kill the closest person.
Imp does this when he's really far ahead, especially on a champion like Kalista.
Oh, yeah.
He would start hunting people. He's like, I don't really need to farm.
I can't believe they haven't started it up. They've got a Randuin's Omen on their jungler.
Prolonged baiting will result in an eventual kill, one way or another. The question is, when will Qiao Gu pull the trigger and actually look at the pit?
See the pings now, but that's red pings there for QG.
Yeah, Braum went over, dropped the ward over the back of the pit.
Found Imp hiding back of the pit. Doing a Twitch impression there. Well, it's going to take out the top wave. Almost level 16 as well. 3.5 items, including the QSS.
Doinb can still carry this game.
I know, that's the weird thing. Like, this game is going on so long that Qiao Gu's first or only team fight might actually be enough in this game.
And they're the team with the track history of winning fights when behind 10k gold. That pink ward is so unlucky. But at the same time, now they've got 3 big items under this Azir. The Void Staff is done, and now his damage exponentially increases against his magic resistance stacking players, which is literally everyone.
Wow.
Mops away from Acorn, Fate's calling to TCT. He's going to get picked up here. Imp's going to get the kill. Never mind the Doinb. 5v4 now. Charm not out. Teleports down. Doinb's going to get them out. Acorn gets trapped. But the Lantern's there. He might be safe. Swift around here as well as Acorn has to ulti himself away. But they're still fighting in, but Impy's doing too much damage. Look at Doinb. TBQ's going to get the first kill. The damage is disgusting. Doinb is trying. Actually, he actually got Imp. Now GODV's going to get chased down. The Twisted Advance will follow. Zhonya's is out, and Doinb will clean this fight up.
They gave him all of the time in the world to actually get items. He's the only person on this side that is doing super well, and he's the one that carries them through that fight. The Hecarim got caught under the turret, to be fair, got completely destroyed by the teleport of V. But that's a fight that should not have gone badly for LGD. They had that, and then they just let Doinb become massive.
They just let an Azir set up 3 soldiers underneath his own turret and continue to die. TCT died before that fight started. Don't even think he used his ultimate.
He didn't.
Just turn around and do Baron.
They don't want to. They really don't want to. Again, like, watch the fact that TCT is already dead.
So right here, there's 0 vision on Baron.
Yeah.
But they continue to dive through. Charm was down. Doinb destroys them.
Like, that divide actually caught V into a horrendous position. Doinb uses Flash and Cleanse to stay in a safe spot. And that safe spot is destroying 3 members at the exact same time with his
and then he sends
soldiers.
them all over the wall.
They found another catch, maybe. TBQ caught in the Dragon Pit, has to get himself out, but QG are fighting back now. They're taking it to LGD. They're still down quite a lot. And now Acorn's going to ulti in. Doinb going to try and push them away. Might not be enough. Doinb is dead. There is Imps in the backline. But he's actually face taking a little too much. TNC late to the party, going to try and clean it up. But Imp's already got a double. They'll clean house here. And as quickly as they won the last fight, they lose the next.
Shouldn't have happened just there. Qiao Gu, they feel overzealous. They didn't have the Maokai. They didn't have TNT. They didn't have a reason to be there.
Tried to rush the Dragon and got punished. 4 kills now for LGD. And now they do Baron. Yay. I mean, look, they're making the easy choices, but
10 minutes overdue.
Hey, you know, it's being done now. They did win another team fight before they actually go for this one, so they get picks that they're looking for. And not only are they getting Baron, they're taking everything at once.
Got to be very cheeky. Knocks down the mid lane turret. Baron goes down as Kalista secures that. And LGD rocket back up ahead in gold. Sorry, guys, false alarm. But LGD can't let that happen again. Doinb is still getting stronger. TNT's really far behind, though.
And that's one of those moments for a series, because obviously we're going into Game 5, most likely at the end of this game, that you look at it and you feel really good about your mid laner. All of a sudden, QG, after a demoralizing victory, have a shining point in the match to look back on and be like, yeah, Doinb absolutely whooped some backside in that turret dive. Like, if we just be patient, outplay them, maybe don't give Imp 100 CS lead for the 3rd time in this series, we have a chance of really riding our in-form mid laner into what should be a very close 5th game. We got blue side, our lucky charm is right there.
So that's, like, I completely agree with that, but then if the idea is going to be how do we stop Imp from being 100 CS ahead?
Yeah, I haven't figured that out.
And then we spend the first 10 minutes sitting bottom lane, not actually getting a gank to be successful. The one time they do it results in the exact opposite that you were looking for, then, I mean, there's the positive, there's the shining light in the middle lane.
Yeah.
There's also the complete pitfall.
In the bot?
Yeah.
Well, the reason I don't feel so bad about being able to figure out how to shut Imp down is because it's been a 1.5 years nearly, and no one's figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm quite comfortable with it.
A few teams, that's for sure.
You can live with the not knowing.
Yeah.
Sun Tower's up. TNT desperately needs a last whisper, by the way.
The only thing is the over-aggression that Imp does
has,
sometimes, yeah. Gets that God complex.
The best way to beat Imp is with Imp.
Is to let Imp outplay himself.
Yeah, well, that's why like Imp and Deft always fluctuate, because Deft is the opposite, super safe.
Yeah.
And when Imp has his moment, Deft is definitely the AD carry that was always there to clean him up on the back end of it. But when Imp plays League of Legends to this extent,
TNT can't even lane. Imp's not even directly hitting him.
yeah.
The Runans.
The Runans.
Yeah. That's gross.
Doinb unfortunately can't defend all 3 lanes at once.
Oh, he's trying.
He's certainly trying. With LGD.
The fact that there's Baron, though, is making it near impossible for Doinb to deal with. They've got the pick potential of both a Thresh and an Ahri.
Sun Tower's down. Yep. This inhibitor looks very dead. Don't think QG want to fight over this one. Maybe think about defending those Nexus turrets. But LGD will take the money and run. Or in this case, the inhibitor. No need to rush.
They got 5th dragon in like 2 minutes. Like, if this game goes for an extra couple of minutes, they still have the very big buff to come onto all of their members.
It's as simple as the win conditions that LGD have are just through the roof, whereas you look at Qiao Gu, and their answer in this game is to not die for as long as possible so that they can maybe get a pick and maybe get something from the pick.
It's a game of choices, you know. As long as you're the people making other teams create bad decisions, as once again, GODV looking for a fall. Yeah, so as long as you're the person like forcing a team to like, okay, what do we give up? How long do we not fight for? When we do eventually fight, what do we hope happens to one of their PCs during the middle of the fight for us to actually win?
I mean, there was a tower dive before. It's not out of the question. Starting to enter some dangerous territory here. Important to note as well, that gold lead that you see right there, what, 14, 13? It's got 13,000. That difference is basically how much gold QG need to get the game back to about even. 65,000 gold's about where you want to be as far as full build for most of your primaries are concerned. And LGD are already there and more. QG got a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, 100%. Honestly, like with some itemizations, like I'm going to look at Ahri, who has quite an expensive itemization if she wants to go optimal. She wants a Void Staff in there as well as probably a Luden's Echo. She's going to go a swap out. Probably 75,000, so they're 20k away from like having premium builds. Because I'm looking at their team. Azir's got a very expensive build. Kog'Maw has a super expensive build. I mean, you have Infinity Edge and stuff in there if you really want to go deep.
Let's put it this way, is Azir has an upgraded boot.
Yeah.
Like that's how expensive he's having to go and how desperate he is to get the items opposed to the mobility. And he's against 2 pick champions. And he's only got boots 1. He's upgraded, he's bought an elixir before he considers that.
Yeah. So, yeah, they've definitely got expensive item builds on the side of QG. Have to see if they're able to stall.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, there's no time for premium. There is barely time for thrift in this game. We're going to have to settle for average at this point. Hopefully as the game drags on, above average and then up towards that nice neutral amount. TNT does have his last whisper, so he'll do quite a bit more consistent damage, but still hoping that LGD make another mistake. And they're not interested in doing that right now. TCT's trying to ward, but it's a dangerous game warding right now.
Oh, the Kalista.
Fate's call. Who's he going for? It's TCT.
He was going for the Kog'Maw there.
Yeah. That was a big disconnect. And I mean, it wouldn't be a Qiao Gu game, to be fair, without a late game team fight with a 10k.
Oh, GODV has to ulti. Acorn coming. Oh, God. Here comes the... They hopped out. Oh, wow, they ultied. That's how scared he was.
You are so divided.
Well, 5th Dragons now for LGD. Have to go back up towards that base and hope somehow that the Nexus stays alive for a couple more minutes. And Acorn's is going to take the tower.
That was almost a great pick, though, for Qiao Gu. They could have prevented the dragon from going down. But now that it's fallen, now that it's actually possessing the 5th dragon here, LGD.
Oh my God. Box actually from PYL. He's trying to zone them out there. Takes out the inhibitor as a result. LGD going to wander bottom side. Sorry, top side. After being bottom.
There's just no answer. Qiao Gu honestly just do not have an answer. They have to sit here and deal with this for as long as possible. Maybe get a pick if they can. But doing that, is near impossible.
He's got to dig nice and deep into those carry pants.
Yeah, he does.
Pull him up right over that stuff. And pull out something here in this game.
Get out his backpack.
A very nice backpack. Swift's going to get charmed up. Hooked there as well by PYL. And that's going to be a kill for the Thresh. Doinb ult's already trying to keep them out of the way, but the Fates calls down. The ult's up from Braum. Can't quite fight as TNT gets jumped on and destroyed. GODV's going to clean up the kills, and LGD are going to clean this out and take this game. We're going to push it all the way to 5 as TCT is getting chased by a horse.
Yeah, and the fact that Doinb was still able to pick up a kill on the back end of all of that shows how well he's done this game. Acorn chases down another member. This will be LGD destroying the Nexus and going to game 5.
Blue side very strong in this series. Qiao Gu will get it for game 5, but they're going to push it all the way to the limit. It wouldn't be an LPL final without a 5th game.
Not at all. What can you say though? They just, every single time a team has had the first pick, they've been on that blue side. It looks like a landslide victory every single time, games 1 through 4.
That was 18,000 gold. That was a landslide victory.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, every time a team wins, not only does it look one-sided, the second game they win looks even better than the last one that they won. So what the hell happens in game 5? Because only one team can win.
Usually defaults to passive, to be honest with you. Everyone actually starts to feel the nerves, and all of these landslides seem to hit a plateau.
I feel like we've been watching these two teams play against each other and learn them better and better and really learn their weaknesses. So when you get to this clutch moment in game 5, it's how you show off your strengths that really matters. Because that's a great sign.
Yep.
Doinb going to put his head down. Couldn't quite carry it on Azir. They're going to see what they can get done.
Yeah, so the thing now going into this next pick ban phase is, do LGD ban the Lulu? And in the same vein, does the Kalista sneak through one more time? Because my answer to the Kalista one is definitely not. No. That was not a good news story there for the QG lineup. But LGD, they've been a little bit disrespectful with the fact that they've left it up twice and been beaten by the Lulu twice, and I want to see whether they make the 5th game adaptation.
I mean, it took them this many games to actually adapt themselves, Qiao Gu, and get rid of that champion. And in the end, they actually gave a champion that was much more highly contested for Imp in the Kalista. So
the Yasuo, man, I cannot believe that they kept Kalista open and banned Yasuo when they're picking Braum. If you're not picking Braum, the Yasuo Braum, especially in Sieges, is just so strong, and you're going to give up something like a Kog'Maw for it. So I can understand the trade-off there because of the long range and things, but if you're going to pick Braum, just don't ban the Yasuo.
It's just a GODV thing.
Yeah, just a GODV thing.
I have to say, I think we already know QG's 3 bans. They're on blue side. They're probably just going to go Diana, Yasuo, Kalista. Yep. That's going to be up to LGD to decide how badly do we not want to play against Lulu in our last game.
I'm going to say 100%, otherwise they might lose the game.
Well, we're going to have to find out in a sec. But let's get more from that last game as we pop back.